Hello and welcome to Love Anything Art. Today I will show you how I made this really cool necklace. And a little bonus for you, I did make these little earrings too. Hey, welcome everybody to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a project with some translucent clay. Use whatever brand of translucent clay you have or that you like to use. This is just for demonstration purposes only. While I'm kind of cutting away some pieces here, I just want to say welcome to my channel. I am so glad you're here. If this is your very first time, well, oh my gosh, welcome. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. I do post videos every Tuesday for your viewing pleasure. And I have almost 200 videos for you to binge watch. And if you are a returning subscriber or a returning viewer that hasn't subscribed, welcome, welcome. Please feel free to leave me comments below. I love chatting with you. So I'm going to cut away a couple pieces here. I'm going to do one for each of my ink colors. Just going to stretch them out a little bit and get them a little bit limber so that I can put on my alcohol inks. And this is the brands that I'm using. This is the only ones I've ever used. I like them. I don't have any complaints about them. You can use whatever brands you have. If you're interested in this, I did buy it on Amazon and will leave a link below for you. It does come with 25 colors. I have used them for a lot of different projects, so they go a long way. It's well worth the investment, I think. This is a bracelet that I have that inspired this project. I loved the colors and I thought, you know what? I don't really have these clay colors, but I can make them with alcohol inks because I don't use my alcohol inks as much as I would like to. So I'm going to base this whole project on those colors. I've picked out colors from my alcohol inks that I thought would eventually come out to look like those colors. So I'm just kind of experimenting here. This is my first time making this, so just kind of seeing how it goes along. And I'll just begin slowly by adding some of these colors to each of my strips of translucent clay. And if you're messy like me, or even if you're not, this stuff gets everywhere. So I do recommend gloves. That way you don't get your old pretty fingers all stained up. Alright, so we're going to try making that green color first. Just put a drop of the green, and this is a white. Thought it might give it kind of like a more creamy kind of a color and dull down that green. Since it's really kind of a dark green, I didn't really have a very light green. So we're going to go ahead and mix that in really well and see what color we come up with. You can use your pasta machine if you have one, or a roller like I did for this project. And although that color is quite beautiful, it's not quite the green color on here. And you got to remember also when you bake your clay, it will come out a little bit darker. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as I go along here. But I do think I need to lighten it up a little bit and make it more yellowy. So I'm just going to use some of this lemon and mix that up and see what I come up with. I think it's just about adding a few drops at a time, just mixing it in. It's kind of a arduous, long process, but I think it's well worth it in the end. Just add a little bit as you go. That way you don't have to add a whole bunch of clay to like dull down the color or anything. And I'm going to move on to the next one. I'll show you that green when we're done. I'm going to try to make that pretty pinky kind of a color. This is some bubble gum. Just going to mix that in there, just one drop at a time. And it kind of looks like cotton candy in a way. But I'm going to go for a little bit darker. I'm going to use some of this cherry to hopefully darken that up a little bit. And I'm going to use some of this white, which is called Snow, just to kind of dull the color down just a little bit so it's not so bright. And then for the last color, I'm going to use some lemon and sunflower. The sunflower is kind of a browny yellow, but quite pretty. It looks like a sunflower. Alright, for each of my colors I did roll them out flat and put them in between a piece of paper so that it kind of leached some of that oils from the clay and made it a little bit firmer. And then rolled it back out into a ball, and then rolled it out into a tube shape. And of course I did that with each of my colors. And this is my complementing color. You can use whatever color you think looks good with whatever colors you're trying to go for. This is a gold color. It's called Treasure, Buried Treasure. Very pretty color, I think. You do want to get it as thin as you possibly can, either by hand or using a pasta machine. And cut away so it's the shape of your tube, and then roll that up, and you'll do that with each color. And then just take your tissue blade and cut it into even length pieces. And my tissue blade is not that great, so it did kind of distort it a little bit. And also it's just about as hot as Hades in my room, so the clay is getting all melty. I'm just going to go ahead and put it back into kind of that tube shape. You could also put your clay in the freezer before cutting it. It's always a wonderful way. But sometimes I'm just impatient and want to get on with it. I've arranged them into a circular shape. I had one little piece left over, so I just rolled it out thinner and put it on there. So it'll be a little bit thinner than the other ones, but that's okay. Go ahead and start squeezing it very lightly together. Just trying to get out the gaps in there. Get everything joined together so it is all stuck together cohesively and beautifully. And again, this is the brand of clay I'm going to use, and it was called Magenta, I believe, but it got all scratched off because I use it a lot. So, just took a piece of that, rolled out to a ball. I think it's the most beautiful, rubiest, red, glittery, sparkly color that ever was in polymer clay. It's quite pretty. But just roll it out into a ball. And of course, if you have cat hair, just go ahead and peel those right on out of there. Dog hairs, The fur baby's love is getting in the clay too. Then I'm just going to use the palm of my hand to flatten the edges more so than the middle. But it will all kind of flatten out a little bit. But you do want the center to be domed. I'm just going to work that out quite gently. It is primo, so it is a bit firmer, which works well for this project. Oh, it's so beautiful. I just love that color. Hey, do you guys have a favorite polymer clay color that you like? Because I would love to know, and I would love to try it out myself if I haven't already. Alright, so that's my little sand dollar-ish kind of a shape. And I did put the clay, the ink clay, in the freezer, and I left it on a little ice pad to keep it all nice and cold. Cut off the ends, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut off some sections. Then just gently roll it out to kind of flatten it a little bit. And then just roll it out until it's pretty flat. You want it to cover your clay that you rolled out into that dome shape. And you want it to fit on there pretty much all the way around evenly. Cover it like a peanut butter sandwich. gently press that on there. If you feel like you had an air bubble in there, you can always lift it up and then put it back down and gently work out any air bubble that may be in there. Air bubbles are not fun, guys. Go around the edge of it to smooth it out. Kind of looks cool the way it is. But I'm going to finish up what I was planning on doing. I have a bead with a hole in the middle. And then I had my stick pin. I'm going to place that through there. You can use whatever you have that's kind of a domed shape that you can press down into the clay. This is basically all I really had that was big enough to make the indentation. I have this tool also that I use a lot, but it's not as big as the spots. Maybe that one right there, and maybe that one. But I'll go ahead and use this for all of them. Use whatever you have, use your imagination, take anything around your house and try and use it. You'll place it on one of your sections. I'm just starting at the very top in the middle. And gently press down. You can give it a little twist and turn. You can also put water on here to help it release a little bit because it did kind of suction cup down in there. But it popped out, and that is what is important. I have a nice divoted dome shape, and it kind of looks like a flying saucer. Woo, doo 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 doo. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it with the rest of them around the outside. All right, I have all my little divots in my clay. Now it really looks like a flying saucer. Little aliens are just gonna come out the bottom there. Quite pretty, I think. Quite interesting, quite different. I love different. And I did get a little bit messy with little hairs all in there. So I'm just using some alcohol ink and a Q-tip. And I'll go ahead and get off any little fuzzies, little tiny dirties that might be in there. You can also sand your piece when you're done, but I find this way easier. Place that on a piece of paper, place that in the oven and bake. I'm going to fill each of those domes up with a nice little splotch of resin. Resin's a wonderful thing. I bought some resin and it's lasted me pretty much a couple of years. I don't use it on every project, so it goes a long way. Just fill up the dome in the middle there as much as possible. You kind of want it to bubble up a little bit over. And then with the extra, just go ahead and work that around the edge or the rim before finishing up the center part there. And once you get it all completely covered, all around there, then you can go ahead and cure your piece. You can also resin the backside. And I put a little eye hook on there and voila, it is done. I put it on this little necklace wire thing. I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to find it on Amazon and place a link in the description box below just in case you're interested in buying those. But look how close those colors came out. I'm actually quite proud of that. I love it. I love the way it looks. And now I have a necklace to match my bracelet. How fun and exciting, right? I know, I'm silly. And then I also made these earrings. It's just quite simple. I just took 2 pieces of the disc, cut out the middle, pinched the outside together, and then that center part I used for the top. And then that's it. You can resin this too if you'd like, but I left it just the way it is. And now I have earrings, bracelet, and necklace set. Super cool. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!